Jumping Flash is a platform video game co-developed by Exact and Ultra and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. It was first released for the PlayStation on the 28th of April 1995 in Japan, the 29th of September 1995 in Europe and the 1st of November 1995 in North America. It is the first installment in the Jumping Flash series, and was ported for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable via the PlayStation Network in 2007. The game follows a robotic rabbit named Robert as he searches for missing jet pods that have been scattered by the game's astrophysicist antagonist character, Baron Aloha. It is presented in a first-person perspective, in which Robert must explore each section of Crater Planet to retrieve all of the jet pods, stop Aloha and save the world from being destroyed. The game was designed as a technology demonstrator for the PlayStation console and was revealed in early 1994 under the provisional title of Spring Man. Jumping Flash utilizes much of the game engine used in Geograph Seal, an earlier game by Exact for the Sharp X68000 home computer. Jumping Flash has been described as an ancestor as well as an early showcase for 3D graphics in console gaming. It was generally well received by critics, who praised its graphics and its unique 3D platforming gameplay. However, it was eventually overshadowed by later 3D platformers of the fifth console generation. Jumping Flash spawned two sequels, Jumping Flash 2 and Robot Mondieu. The game was described as the third most underrated video game of all time by Matt Casamassina of IGN in 2007. It also holds the Guinness World Records distinction for being the first platform video game in true 3D gameplay. Jumping Flash is presented in a first-person perspective. The player assumes the role of Robert, who can freely move in three-dimensional space and can rotate the camera in any direction. The top part of the screen shows the remaining time, the player's score, and a character named Kumagoro, Robert's sidekick artificial intelligence, who offers the player warnings and hints. The top left corner of the screen shows the collected power-ups. The top right corner contains the radar showing the locations of objects including enemies, power-ups, jet pods and enemy projectiles. The bottom shows a health meter on the sides and the number of remaining lives in the center. The core of the gameplay is focused on the player's ability to make Robert jump. Robert can jump up to 3 times in mid-air, which allows him to reach extreme heights. Unlike other platform games that continue to face horizontally when the player jumps, in Jumping Flash, the camera tilts downwards when a double jump or triple jump is performed to allow the player to see Robert's shadow and easily plan a landing spot. Jumping chains can be performed by jumping on enemies or projectiles in succession. The player has the ability to shoot a low-powered laser beam at a target indicator in the middle of the screen. The player can find and use fireworks for Robert to damage enemies. These include cherry bombs, rockets, Roman candles and twisters. Each level has a time limit of 10 minutes, and will end once the time runs out. Power-ups scattered across each world are picture frames representing carrots to extend Robert's health, extra lives, timeouts that stop the clock and freeze the level's dynamics for a few seconds, hourglasses that extend the player's time, and power pills that make Robert invincible for a short period of time. Coins that are worth points can also be picked up by destroying enemies that are often anthropomorphic versions of creatures such as kiwis and penguins, but also include robots and plants. Most enemies have simple actions. They wander around aimlessly or randomly shoot and throw projectiles, and others will directly attack Robert. The game is composed of 5 worlds with 3 levels each, totaling to 18 main levels. The objective of the main levels in each world is to collect 4 jet pods. Each final level of a world consists of a boss fight. The level designs vary from snow-capped mountains to roller coaster-filled carnivals. While most of the levels are large, outdoor excursions, two are enclosed within a narrow interior. The game features hidden bonus levels, which are triggered when secret entrances are found. Bonus levels consist of blocks with balloons in them. Popping the balloons yields either coins or power-ups. A time attack mode is available for any level the player has completed. Plot: the game begins on Crater Planet and revolves around the story of an insane astrophysicist, Baron Aloha, planning to make a large profit from his evil ingenuity. Aloha removes giant pieces of land from the planet using machines to turn them into private resorts. Aloha also removes and hides the 12 jet pods that propel each world. Witnessing the destruction, the residents of Crater Planet call for help, and in response the Universal City Hall dispatches one of their agents, a mechanical rabbit named Robert. Robert is ordered to explore each world to retrieve the jet pods, stop Aloha, and save Crater Planet from destruction. At the end of the game, Aloha flees to his home, Little Muu, and vows revenge on Robert. Throughout the game, Aloha surrounds himself with creatures called Muimuas that appear as small, white, five-limbed creatures with miniature palm trees on their heads. Many of the game's full-motion videos feature the Muimuas in an izakaya, recounting their defeat at the hands of Robert. Development and release: Jumping Flash was developed by Japanese developers Exact and Ultra. The game was first revealed in early 1994 under the provisional title, Springman, as a technology demonstration for the then-upcoming PlayStation console. Sony Computer Entertainment hoped Jumping Flash would be remembered as the first appearance of a new platform star, with the same longevity as Sonic the Hedgehog or Mario. The game uses the same engine and shares similar gameplay traits with Geograph Seal, a 3D platform game released for the Sharp X68000 home computer the previous year by Exact. After seeing Geograph Seal and realizing the potential in the game design, Sony's director of entertainment in Japan, Koji Tada, paired Exact with Ultra to develop a new game for the upcoming PlayStation console. Tada replaced Hiroyuki Saregusa as director of the game, although he had kept all key Exact staff to work on the project. The initial development was split into two phases. Exact developed the game engine and its gameplay. Ultra designed the story, 3D cutscenes, and created characters such as the mechanical rabbit protagonist, Robert. Ultra felt they needed to depart from their stereotypical science fiction vibe that included the usual Space Ranger or double agent protagonists, to create a sense of individuality among platform games. The developers implemented a dynamic camera that would automatically pan down towards the shadow of Robert on the ground during large jumps, allowing players to carefully line up their landings. Jumping Flash was considered the first game of the platform genre to be developed with full 3D computer graphics. The music for Jumping Flash was composed by Japanese video games and anime music composer Takeo Maratsu. Many of the tracks, along with tracks from Jumping Flash 2, were included on the Jumping Flash 2 original soundtrack album, which Maratsu also composed. Reception and legacy: the game received generally positive reviews upon release. Critics mainly praised its unique innovation, advanced graphics, gameplay, and clean textures. The 4 reviewers of Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it their Game of the Month award, citing the outstanding graphics and particularly the innovative 3D gameplay. They advised older gamers the cutesy style is not as off-putting as it initially seems. Major Mike of GamePro said that despite the game appearing strange, it had action, strategy, and sometimes humor. Next Generation said many of the boundaries have been redefined in a big way with Jumping Flash, noting the way it differentiates itself from side-scrolling platformers with a first-person perspective and explorable 3D environments. They said from concept to execution, everything here is simply superb, and gave it a revolutionary 5-star rating. Maximum stated that Jumping Flash one of the most imaginative, playable, enjoyable, original titles seen on any next-generation machine. They criticized its length and lack of difficulty, expressing that it could have been one of the greatest games ever if it was longer and more difficult, and questioning whether it was a really worthwhile purchase. Game Revolution called the graphics mind-blowing, and the game itself totally unique. However, they criticized the overall shortness and ease of the game, despite stating that the gameplay was stunning, and its innovation unique. IGN's 1996 review similarly criticized the difficulty, saying that despite the relatively small worlds and quick gameplay, it is a great, genre-pushing game, also saying it is an essential for all PlayStation owners. In a 2007 review, Greg Miller of IGN criticized the graphics as dated, having jagged edges and muddled colors, and said every aspect of the game is weak, and that it had not stood the test of time. In a retrospective review, Andrew Yoon of Engadget praised the gameplay and innovation, saying the grainy, antiquated graphics did no harm to the vibrant atmosphere of the game. Speaking in 2007, Rob Fay of Eurogamer stated Jumping Flash was arguably one of the most important ancestors of any 3D platform game, as well as asserting that the game would always have a part in video gaming history. Albert Kim of Entertainment Weekly stated that the game was perhaps the most euphoric sensation of video gaming at the time, as well as heralding the first-person perspective as hypnotic. Matt Thorson, the creator of the indie video game Towerfall, also praised the game, saying, "Something about the sensation of leaping through 3D space captured my childhood imagination." One UP cited its first-person platforming as a precursor to Mirror's Edge, despite suggesting that the jumping has remained woefully out of place in the platform genre. In 2007, Matt Casamassina of IGN ranked Jumping Flash as the third most underrated video game of all time. After release, co-developer Ultra renamed themselves MUU after the creatures featured in the game. Sequels. Due to its popularity, Sony produced 2 sequels to Jumping Flash, including one spin-off, a direct sequel, Jumping Flash 2, also developed by Exact, was released worldwide for the PlayStation the following year. It continued the story of Robert and the subsequent rise and fall of Baron Aloha. The game received positive reviews upon release, with critics particularly praising its updated features. Robert Monji was released exclusively in Japan for the PlayStation in 1999, and was the final installment in the series. It was met with mixed reviews, and following Exact's merger with SCEI in 2000, the series came to an end. Both Jumping Flash and Jumping Flash 2 were re-released via the PlayStation Network in 2007 and 2009, respectively. A loose spin-off titled Pocket Moo Moo was released exclusively in Japan for the Pocket Station in 1999 before Exact's closure.